Hello, everyone. This is Senior Biotech Analyst John Vandermosten. Welcome to our channel that educates the life sciences investor on exciting advancements in drugs, biologics, and devices. For more content and news like this, subscribe to our channel below and like or share with others. Welcome back to our talk with the CEO of GeoVax, David Dodd. BARDA recently granted a Project NextGen award to the company to conduct a Phase IIb study to evaluate a COVID vaccine. David, first of all, congratulations on winning the award. And secondly, tell us how this came about.
Sure. Thank you for the congratulations. This whole process started in April of 2023 when BARDA, working under the White House, announced the follow-on program to Operation Warp Speed. It's called Project NextGen. Consists of a $5 billion initiative that is advancing or intended to advance or fund the clinical development through a Phase IIb study of candidates, so COVID-19 vaccine candidates that in the current data they're generating is showing the potential to do two things primarily: to be able to provide a vaccine against COVID-19 that gives a greater breadth of coverage, meaning going across the emerging variants, because the current mRNA vaccines don't do that. They have to be reconfigured. That takes time. It's frustrating. And then the other issue is they just don't last that long. They last 2 to 6 months, the current vaccines. And what everyone is seeking is something that's more like a year. Well, our vaccine, which was already in Phase 2 trials, it goes by the name GEO for GeoVax, but CM04S1, the data we've been generating in Phase 2 clinical trials has demonstrated broad breadth of protection against multiple variants as they continue to emerge, which was somewhat unique. So we were very pleased with that. We weren't totally surprised. That was the approach we were going after. But even more so, we were showing durability, or demonstrating that the long-lasting power was more like 8 to 12 months instead of the 2 to 6 months that we're seeing in the real world with the mRNA. As a result of those data and our interactions with BARDA, we announced in mid-June that we were being awarded, and BARDA announced it also simultaneously, an award of almost $400 million in support of the conduct of a Phase IIb trial, 10,000 patient trial. We'll talk about that probably some later. The funding comes in two pieces: direct amount up to $45 million for GeoVax in support of our regulatory activities and the manufacturing of the product, and then another $343 million to our CRO, Allucent, who we're delighted to be working with. We've been working with them the last 2 years, and that will fund the full Phase IIb trial that they will conduct on our behalf. So together, that's approximately $388 million, which as a smaller company, it would be impossible for us to be able to fund and conduct that trial. So we're excited, delighted. Everything's moving about as quickly as you can imagine towards the activation of the program.
And so, David, what's the status of the trial right now? It sounds like you're going to get started soon. And then when you start, when do you anticipate getting some data from this to find out how it did?
Sure. Let me describe the elements of the trial and bring you up to date on that. So the trial is a Phase IIb, meaning looking at efficacy. It's 10,000 patients. 5,000, they'll be randomized. 5,000 will receive our vaccine, and 5,000 will receive a first-generation mRNA vaccine. So they'll receive the mRNA.
Will it be the same? Will it be the same mRNA vaccine? Because I know there are a couple of them out there.
It'll be the current one. It'll be the current one that has just been authorized. And it'll be approximately 100 sites in the U.S. and I'm pleased to say over 80 have already been confirmed. So things are moving very fast. We've already provided the necessary components for our manufacturer to be producing product. It's anticipated that we'll be starting in Q2 of next year is when we will activate the trial with the first patients coming in. It's anticipated it'll take approximately 6 months to enroll all patients in the various sites, and then they'll be monitored for a year. In total, if you work that out, it's between 2 and 2.5 years of the actual trial program. There are discussions underway right now about when to do and what would be the elements of an interim analysis review. It probably would be based on a couple of criteria. It could be once you have patients in there at the 6-month period. It could be once you have a certain number of breakthrough events and look at it from that standpoint. That hasn't been resolved yet, but it'll be resolved relatively soon, I'm certain. And so we're just working feverishly to support the manufacturing of the product with our CDMO, our contract development manufacturing organization, working in conjunction of Allucent as these sites are being confirmed and doing everything we need to be doing in conjunction with BARDA to be well prepared. Because right now we're highly focused on the activation of this trial in the second quarter of next year.
So now a 10,000 person trial is pretty big, and but you did say this is a phase 2. Will a phase 3 be required, or would this be enough to find out that it works sufficiently to approve it?
Well, I think the results will be the driver of that. Everybody would like to have the answer to that, nobody more so than myself. But essentially, a large trial such as that in a phase 2 could be very meaningful, and it may do a couple of things. It may open up a more accelerated or expedited path if the data look very good, because we'll be compared against an FDA authorized type product. Also, I would point out that in our we have 3 other phase 2 trials that are underway, aren't being funded by BARDA right now for our product, 2 of which are being evaluated among immunocompromised populations. We have focused on that specifically because those individuals do not respond well to the mRNA vaccines, and those vaccines do not provide them the protection they needed. We believe through interactions and discussions with regulatory authorities as well as consultants that there is a pathway, an expedited pathway to registration by focusing on immunocompromised populations, because they're a recognized unserved population today. For them, the pandemic is still underway. So we believe that with our product, if the data are supportive, that we'll be able to have some form of an expedited registration pathway.
Okay, great. Well, David, thanks for the clarity on your COVID program and how it's going and the BARDA contract. Thank you so much.